We should just sit here and eat dinner and just have the camera going.
And then just
and just sit here and just, you know, just talk. Like, just go about our daily lives.
Or you know what else we do?
Yeah.
Put the Avengers credits in.
Like a shawarma scene at the end of the first Avengers.
No, we just go eating and we go, patience is a virtue.
Hi, I'm Captain America.
I hated that.
Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to my movie channel. My name is Tom and thank you very much for joining me for this, our spoilers review for this little tiny low budget independent movie called Avengers Infinity War. That again, I don't know how many people are going to see it, and I don't think this movie's going to make that much money, but you know, it's also not that great. I'm just kidding. This is my friend James. If you haven't seen our videos before, he joins me for some videos here and there, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about the spoilers for Avengers Infinity War. So if you have not seen Avengers Infinity War, please go see the movie, because the movie is chock full of spoilers, and you're better off getting the spoilers from the movie itself than from watching this little video. So see Avengers Infinity War, come back and watch this spoilers review for the movie. So, Avengers Infinity War. I'm just going to sum up. I did a non-spoiler review earlier, and I really did enjoy this film. I have a couple of minor issues with it, but otherwise, overall, really enjoyed the film. What are your first impressions? I've seen it twice now, you've only seen it once. So,
what are my first impressions? Interesting villain, good cinematics, nice choreography, emphasis on a number of characters who were removed for the second portion.
Yeah.
Namely Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange, as well as Spider-Man. An unusual choice, but given his impact in the fight against Thanos, a reasonable assumption.
But it's also, yeah.
It might also be drawing back to some of the original heroes, like Hawkeye and Ant-Man don't make an appearance, which is an interesting selection.
Which is good. Like, did you read like a lot online where, you know, everyone was like, "Where the hell is Hawkeye?" Because he wasn't in any trailers. He wasn't in any.
He's not in the film.
He's not in the film at all, and that's really surprising to me. I was like, Hawkeye's. I was waiting for Hawkeye to pop up. I thought, oh, maybe Hawkeye and Ant-Man are going to show up and do something, or bring Captain Marvel with them or something at the end and just, you know, beat Thanos. I didn't know. And they didn't show up at all. They get mentioned once in a little throwaway line, but otherwise they don't get that, you know, they're not even in the film.
I mean, given that the film is in two parts, it was sort of given that the villain would win in the end.
Yeah.
But what it doesn't tell you is it's kind of an emotional roller coaster as you take him through the highs and lows of his entire upbringing. He's the survivor of a self-destructive species whose overpopulation led them to extinction. He then enforces his beliefs on other communities with the idea that the end justifies the means. He brings in children for whom he seems to have an apparent soft spot, and even kills his daughter to reach this goal. I believe Tom was quite surprised by this. I was not surprised.
See, here's the thing. First of all, Red Skull coming back, we haven't seen him since the end of the first Captain America, which was the 4th movie in the MCU. Like, that's that long ago that happened. You know, he was just sucked out into space with, due to the Tesseract at the end of that movie. So, like, we haven't seen or heard of or had any mention of him since. And so to see him again, that was really cool. Now, I'm not sure if it was Hugo Weaving actually playing Red Skull again, because Hugo Weaving has said he doesn't want to come back and do it again, but he's under contract. If Marvel makes him come back, he has to come back. I'm not sure, because it actually wasn't listed in the credits. I've seen the movie twice, and I've tried to catch it twice, and it wasn't there. So if anyone knows if that was Hugo Weaving, let me know in the comment section below. But I really got a kick out of seeing him again, and we finally get answers to where Red Skull has been all this time. Look, Gamora dying. Out of every character that I thought possibly was going to eat it, I knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I knew Loki was going to go. That was going to happen. You know, he failed in the first Avengers. He failed Thanos. He betrayed Thanos twice now. And I knew Thanos was going to kill him. There was just no... Loki was going to die one way or another in the first 10 minutes of this movie. It was going to happen. I saw that coming. Didn't see Gamora coming. Didn't see that at all. And that's something that I really hope... I don't think you think this, but I certainly think this, and we had a bit of an argument about this before. You know, I get a bit annoyed. I'm a bit annoyed with Marvel sometimes, because they do the, you know, fake death kind of thing, and I just think if you're gonna kill someone, keep them dead.
Yeah, In this
because
instance,
at a certain point, you know, it just gets old. It's just like, okay, because at a certain point when you do kill someone, I don't really believe that they're actually dead because you're just going to bring them back in the next movie. So I really hope they keep Gamora where she is. And actually, that could be really interesting for, say, Guardians 3, you know, seeing how they go.
I don't think
without
it would be,
her.
I haven't seen Guardians 2, but chances are she won't remain deceased.
You can skip Guardians 2, yeah?
You can have the illusion of death and you can have the actuality of death, and in this movie you're given actualities. These characters have indeed died. Well, there is no illusion. There is no maybe they're coming back, with the exception of Loki, but that's well, Loki. What more do you want?
I mean, with Gamora, I mean, you saw Gamora. Green splat like a head on the fucking ground.
It wasn't just Gamora either. Numerous characters died.
Died.
No, die. Die would be.
Died. That's
but I mean, obviously they're building into the second part, which will likely feature a mass resurrection.
Everyone faded away to dirt. Yeah.
There will probably be a bigger emphasis on Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and Captain Marvel, as I understand.
Captain Marvel, yeah. Captain Marvel in that post-credit scene.
In the new film.
Yeah.
But with no Nick Fury, it'll be interesting to see the coordination come out, especially since they're sort of trapped between numerous worlds. I mean, there's the... As Tom pointed out, who was it? Valkyrie?
Valkyrie. Where the hell? First of all, okay, look.
No.
I need to ask this question. Where the hell is Valkyrie and Korg? Where are they?
Simple. They're not on the ship.
Yeah, they're not on the ship, but I want to know where they are. So Korg is my favourite character in the entire MCU.
But remember as well that...
I'm not even kidding.
That Thanos destroys a single ship.
Yeah.
And still says that half the people are alive.
Yeah.
Which means that there has to be at least another ship.
And the Grandmaster's ship wasn't on top of that big ship at the end of Thor Ragnarok. It was on the big ship at the end of Thor Ragnarok, but at the beginning of Infinity War, you see the top of that ship, and you don't see the Grandmaster's Commodore, which we know is an Australian car reference.
But at the same time, it goes without saying that they still would have been caught. It would have happened. What would have had to have been, because he still gave half the people a chance to survive. How would he know who half the people are? And not just that, but how would you evacuate somebody like Valkyrie and Korg? Sorry.
Thorg. Did you say Thorg? Hashtag Thorg.
How are you supposed to evacuate them when you have numerous fleets just homing in on your position? They would have had technology that allowed them to see any movements within a certain distance. They
set off the fireworks from that ship that the Grandmaster uses for orgies and stuff. First of all, how are you able to talk so well and just string sentences together? I'm sort of like, you know, this, and you can just go, and, like, how do you do that?
Preparation.
you didn't take notes?
I'm not a good on-the-spot speaker.
What are you talking about?
Difficulty. Because these are sort of conversations I've always ticked over in my mind again and
You're
again.
just stream of consciousness, like it just flows. I'm sort of going.
You've probably covered all of these points in your previous review as well. It is a good film and it is enjoyable. It doesn't match the intensity of the original Avengers, but it does have a longer, or maybe I should say more prolonged high. It's like you get action, you get a little bit of action in the first 10 minutes, you get 10 minutes, then you get big action, a lull, big action for the rest of the film.
A bunch of different character groups, like, you know, they're all separated in their own little groups, and I like seeing, like, what this movie does so well is bring together characters we've never seen interact before.
It's an ensemble.
Yeah. But it's an ensemble that's been 10 years building up too. I was going to say, speaking of Loki's death, I've been calling it for months, and I put up, by the way, if you haven't seen it, a couple of months ago I did a video on my top 5 Avengers Infinity War theories, and that was my main theory. I thought Loki was going to die, because in the trailers, we only ever see him on that ship. And I thought he's not in any of the other, places in the movie, he's only on that ship. Thanos kills him, because Loki tried to trick Thanos, and look, Loki, up until this movie, Loki's been my favourite, villain in the MCU, and now it's Thanos, because Thanos, you know, to me, I know we disagree on this, Thanos is the main character of this movie. The movie revolves around him. He does push the story forward. He is the driving force behind the movie.
I would say driving force. I wouldn't say central character.
Well...
Because he's given quite a bit... Because, like I said, it's an ensemble. And when you end up with an ensemble, you can't have a protagonist. Because you've got so many characters filling that niche.
Oh, you mean like one main...
Well, the protagonist is generally the one that's given the position of lead in a story.
Yeah, okay.
And while you could say that Thanos is a protagonist, you've also got Iron Man...
Cap.
Iron Man, Vision, Scarlet Witch...
Cap.
Captain... Thor, and
but
I believe there's someone else who are all acting protagonists. They're all given a considerable amount of screen time, and notably, Thor becomes overpowered. But really overpowered.
But he's Thor. He's a god.
I don't give a damn.
This is like people coming out of Justice League. People were like, "Wow, Superman was really overpowered." I'm like, "He's Superman." Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Ding. Actually, can we talk about? That's a good segue. Can we talk about Thor? Because Thor in this film, Thor is probably my favorite part of this movie, like one of my favorite, next to maybe Thanos and next to seeing, you know, Tony Stark and Doctor Strange interact, which I love their dynamic, by the way. Also, Thor's role in this movie is great. His lines are great. Every scene Thor is in is golden in this movie, especially when he comes back, and he comes back using the Bifrost, and him and Rocket and Groot end up on Wakanda. And I love that. And then Thor and Cap with the "you stole my beard, you got a haircut, you copied my beard." Love that.
I found everything to do with Thor the most interesting part of the film.
Okay.
Because it featured more ups and downs. Although Thanos did make a close second, I don't think he had the same intensities that the Thor storyline did.
Although, to me, it's between Thor and Thanos. Like, you know, depending on which day you ask me, depending on, like, I will say who's my favorite character in the movie. In terms of depth and emotion and screen time even, so.
Also, StarLord can get fucked.
You don't like what's your problem with StarLord?
He's a fucking wanker. My God, that entire film could have been over if he didn't do one thing.
Yeah, but remember...
One thing!
Yeah, but remember, he just found out that, like, his girlfriend died.
Oh, and of course he couldn't take revenge on the person like a normal person, where you wait for a moment of vulnerability and then go ham. No. He instead had to screw up what his teammates were doing and completely blow it. I mean, admittedly, it does extend the film, which is a nicety.
Yeah.
But it is still sort of like, holy shit, you fucking retard.
But also, I know you've never had a girlfriend, so you'll never understand this.
Neither have you, and I'm pretty sure
I have had 3 girlfriends.
Yeah.
Like, none of them have been killed by their purple stepfather, but well, you know, emotion turns into rage, turns into, you know, he wasn't thinking clearly. He just found out Gamora died and the dude who killed her is standing right in front of him. Of course he's gonna go nuts. And yeah, he did blow the mission, and that's why Stark was yelling at him. By the way, that was a great scene also. Like, the whole, you know, the coming up with the plan, and then Doctor Strange, and they all take their shots. And I just got amused when, you know, Spider-Man swinging, Doctor Strange is bringing them in and out, you know, of the portals. And Spider-Man swings through, webs Thanos in the face, swings back out, swings back in, kicks him in the head again, keeps going around. I love that so much. There's so many, like, good, like, geek-out moments in this movie. Like, just...
Well, things like StarLord, who else was there? Black Panther, Bucky got some screen time as well as Groot. They all tended to have the biggest highs I noticed. So I think there was definitely a bigger emphasis on their importance to the story, particularly Scarlet Witch, because she, ever since she got introduced in Age of Ultron, she's had, not particularly in that movie, but like overall every film she's been in since then, her role's been getting more and more important and more big, and she's become more and more powerful. And yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what are some of your favorite moments in the movie? Well, I liked how I did appreciate how all those characters that I mentioned previously died, because, as I said, they got the biggest highlights of all their choreography. Yeah,
turned to dirt. Died. Yeah.
Well, not technically died, erased from existence.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what's the difference at this bloody point? Oh, stop that.
Sorry. Erased from existence.
I did like how Wakanda had a less major emphasis on the CGI and the futuristic technology.
Well, it was just grass. That whole end battle was just grass.
Well, yeah, they didn't really extend beyond that, which was a nice change. I wasn't the biggest fan of Black Panther.
You hated Black Panther.
I did not hate Black Panther.
I said I liked Black Panther, and people still accuse me of hating it outright.
Yeah, which is weird.
It's weird. We live in this 0 or 10 mentality. It can't be anywhere in between. I was gonna talk about when Cap and Black Widow and Falcon first get introduced, because that scene is awesome.
Oh, yeah,
with the train, and
that's
you just
really
see
fun.
It's such a good scene.
My only issue with that scene is I thought it would have been cool to have Black Widow there instead of Captain.
Did you see her hair blowing in the...
Yeah, I don't know why. I just think that particular scene, Black Widow was the more appropriate one.
It would have been cool. It would have been a cool shot, but it made sense why it was Captain America. And then you had that classic Avengers theme kicking in that scene. I love that entire scene. I will say this. We're going to bounce around like here, but I will say this. That whole sequence, with Scarlet Witch and Vision, and they're in Scotland. And, first they're in the hotel and they're talking, and that's a nice scene. It's, and it is an entertaining sequence, but I felt like that entire thing went on for too long with the Blackwater chasing them and shooting them down. But I did like the moment when they eventually get to that train station, and you got the two Blackwater, dudes, or the dude and the chick or whatever. I don't know their actual names. I know they do have names, but I don't know their names. And Scarlet Witch just stands up. And she's ready to go. And then Cap and Widow in that shot. But I love that scene so much. But I really loved the dynamic between Strange and Stark. I love seeing... I love the fact that, Bruce Banner couldn't turn into the Hulk for some reason. And that's the other thing, I love about the beginning with Loki, where that whole thing of, we have Hulk. Just doing a recall back to Stark, when Stark said to him in the first Avengers, we have a Hulk. And then Loki throwing back to that line. And the Hulk showing up and fighting Thanos, and you find out that Thanos is actually stronger than the Hulk, which is great. I mean, people who read comics might have known that. I didn't know that.
All right, let's just skip straight to the end. Thanos sits and enjoys a nice sunset.
Do you know what? Okay, when I saw the movie for the first time yesterday, when we're shooting this, it's probably like 3 days ago, but when we're shooting this, it was yesterday. And I first saw that ending, and I was like, that's a weird ending, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. And although Thanos sitting there smiling, seeing Thanos actually genuinely smile, it wasn't an evil smile, it was a genuine I'm happy smile.
He wasn't actually given off as a properly
evil.
He wasn't exactly.
He thought he was doing
character.
right. That's what makes bad guys good. That's what makes good villains, is the villains who think they're doing right, not necessarily villains who are just there because they're evil and they want to destroy everything and they want to,
Well, that's why you like Scar.
I love
what
Scar.
Differentiates Scar is that he doesn't tell anyone of his plan.
Yeah, but I think Thanos is great. I think Thanos is the best. If I have the single best character in this film is probably Thanos to me. It's either Thanos or Thor, because I really enjoyed Thor. But let's talk about that ending scene. It just sort of ends with him sitting there, and first of all, I've decided now after seeing it twice that I did like that ending. I do like that ending because the movie ends with the villain achieving what he wanted to achieve. He set out, he got all the Infinity Stones, he did wipe out half the universe, he did bring balance, not to the Force, but he did bring balance to the universe.
No, the Force can get stuffed at the moment. This is the MCU, not
we're not talking about Star Wars.
Dimension.
How often do you get a superhero movie where the villain, if we just take this movie as this movie and forget about Avengers 4 coming, this movie ends with the villain winning. He won. There's not many superhero movies that you get to say that about. He achieved what he wanted to do. He did it.
This is the only one as far as I know. But then...
I'm looking at my shelf, at my Blu-ray shelf, and I'm looking at all the comic book movies, and I'm going, how many of those did the villain actually win?
But then you probably are going to have a lot of empathy towards Thanos' plight. He's not completely heartless, and even killing his daughter... Well, admittedly, he does torture his other daughter, but...
Yeah, but see, he doesn't like her. He actually loves Gamora.
Poor Nebula. But then Nebula's a bitch. I haven't seen the second Guardians. I just know the first.
I don't like her, and I don't like the way the actress Karen Gillan, and I haven't seen her in many other things either. I don't like the way she portrays Nebula, because to me Nebula is always, she always talks like this. I'm over-exaggerating, but it's always the same thing. But I do feel like the film, overall, I freaking love this movie to death. You really enjoyed this movie. You thought it was a good movie. You had fun.
I did have fun.
That's good, because normally you're a grumpy shit and you hate everything that is good. I'm just going to wait for that tap to finish. And then I will end it, and then I can turn the light off and I can stop sweating like a fucking pig. And
which is funny, because I'm not sweating.
Really? I'm sweating.
So, in conclusion...
In conclusion, Your Honor. So anyway, guys, that is our spoilers review for Avengers Infinity War. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of Avengers Infinity War. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Did you hate it? Did you just flat out hate this movie? Is this the worst movie you've ever seen in your entire life? Is this the best movie you've ever seen in your entire life? Let me know in the comment section below. Tell him he's an idiot and, you know, he shouldn't be in any more of these videos. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will talk to you guys next time.